It's the Groucho Show, brought to you by the Tony Company. Greatest name in home beauty. Tony, world leader in hair research. Here he is, the one, the only...
George, you know what the music was they just played?
Our theme.
Yeah, our theme, yeah. We've been using that for years. You know what it is?
That's terrible. Hooray for Captain Spaulding.
That's right. That was written by Harry Ruby, and he wrote it for Animal Crackers. Could you sing it? Could you sing a little of it?
Now?
Don't look at me so stupefied. You've been hearing it every week for 14 years. Hooray for...
Hooray, hooray, hooray. Hooray for Captain Spaulding, the African explorer. Did someone call me Schnorrer?
That's right.
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
No.
No?
He went into the jungle where all the monkeys... throw nuts. If I stay here, I'll go nuts. Hooray, hooray, hooray. He put all his reliance and courage and defiance and risked his life for science. Hey, hey, hooray, hooray, hooray. Well, it goes on like that until the police comes. What is the good word for tonight, George? Assuming that there is any.
I think there is. Let's bring the duck down and find out. Here it is.
How is it the duck always knows what the secret word is? I don't understand that. And where does he get the money from that he disperses here every week?
I don't know either.
That's the word for tonight. And if any of our couples say it, they win George Fenneman. Or $3 in cash. You know what they'll take, don't you?
Well, before Groucho meets our contestants, here's how you can keep your hair shining and manageable. Groucho, Karen Scott is waiting to talk to you, and her partner is a special guest. You probably won't remember this, but not too long ago you read a book, and it must have interested you very much because you asked me to get in touch with the author and invite him to the show, which I have done. Do you remember that?
Frankly, no, I don't. I think you made the whole thing up just now.
No, you asked me to invite this fellow to the show. I remember that distinctly.
Well, who wrote this book? Was it Shakespeare?
No, a fellow by the name of...
Anne Hathaway?
No, not Anne Hathaway. Mark Harris wrote the book.
Mark Harris? What's the name of the book?
Wake up, stupid. I don't know.
Well, that's a fine way to talk to the old quizmaster after 18 years, after all we've been through. The fact is, I do remember that book, and it was very funny. And you say the author is here tonight?
Yes.
Well, wake up, stupid, and bring him in. Huh?
Would Karen Scott and Mark Harris come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. How do you do? Harris, how do you do? Miss Scott, aren't you a college professor at some high school?
No, Groucho, I'm a college professor at San Francisco State College.
San Francisco State. Isn't that Fenneman's alma mater?
Yes, I understand that Mr. Fenneman attended State.
What do you teach in college, Mark?
I teach English there, Groucho.
English, huh?
Yes.
Well, that explains why you've never heard of Fenneman. Karen Scott, that's you, huh?
Yes.
Well, you're very attractive. Where are you from, Karen?
London.
London, huh? It's one of my favorite places, London. How's the Queen? Have you seen the photographer?
No, I've been here for 10 years.
You've been here for 10? Well, you're very attractive, Karen. How old are you?
Oh, Groucho, you mustn't ask questions like that. It's very embarrassing, especially in front
Not
of
to
all
me.
these people. Every woman has 3 ages, a chronological age, a physical age, and an emotional age.
That's true, isn't it, Mark? A man has 7 ages, and they're all lousy, according to Shakespeare. You're absolutely right, Karen. Asking a woman her age is unforgivable, unpardonable. It's nobody's business, especially mine. Now, let's get on to something interesting. How old were you when you first came to the United States?
In my early 20s.
And what year was that?
like you said, Groucho, it's nobody's business, especially yours.
Can you tell me why President Johnson was impeached? Do you know why he was impeached, Mark?
No, I really don't. I wouldn't have impeached him.
Fine
myself.
college professor. Don't they teach history at San Francisco State?
Well, I probably once knew, but I don't...
Well, is this true of everything you learn in college, that you eventually forget everything and you just have a kind of a thin patina of knowledge left to
No, I
stagger
think,
your way through life?
I think that the purpose of college education would be to teach you how to learn things rather than to remember why Johnson was impeached.
Well, if you were related to the Johnson family, you would be more interested. Well, I don't know why either. I mean, it had something to do with the North and the South or something. He wasn't thrown out of office, you know. He was...
No, he narrowly missed being
Yes.
impeached.
I give up on you, Karen. Are you married?
Oh, I was married once,
Uh-huh.
for about 5 years.
How long ago was this? You must have been a child bride then, huh? How old were you when you were married?
18.
18. And you say you were married 5 years? How long ago was this, Karen?
Back to the old subject. It's none of your business, Groucho.
Now, Karen, if you're over 25, I'm a monkey's uncle. And tomorrow morning, I'm going down to the zoo and give my nephew some peanuts. Mark, are you married?
Yes, Groucho, I've been married for 14 years.
Uh-huh. How did you meet your wife? Was she a student of yours in this high school?
I met my wife when I was in newspaper work in the Middle West.
You were a newsboy?
No, I worked for the International News Service.
Uh-huh.
And
What did you do?
a reporter, and I worked on the teletype machine,
And then how did you meet your wife?
Well,
On the teletype machine?
Yes, on the teletype machine.
No kidding. Now, you mean she was rolling over one of these things?
No, she was in Springfield.
You know that there are 37 Springfields in the United States?
And
You don't mind if I interrupt you occasionally, huh?
there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it.
No, there's nothing I can do about it either. It's a kind of an automatic reflex. Well, anyway, how did you meet her?
Well, I had a request to find out about Mr. Hannigan, who was then the chairman of the
Steve
Democratic. And he.
You went to see Steve Hannigan?
Well, I wanted her to see him and to tell us.
Wait a minute. You wanted who to see her?
This girl up in Springfield, Illinois,
Well, where were you?
in St. Louis.
Well, how did you know there was a girl in Springfield?
Well, I knew from the teletype messages that went back and forth. She was just initials on a teletype machine.
Well, how did you know it was a girl? It could have been. What were the initials?
I didn't know it was a girl.
What were the
Her
initials?
initials were JHH.
J.H.H. Well, it could have been Jim Herring or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that. Jim Harris. Could be anything.
But it wasn't.
Well, how did you know?
Because I received a very angry telephone call from her, and she said that she'd looked all over town for Hannigan, and he wasn't in town.
And?
Well, the truth of the matter is that she was right. He was in Springfield, Missouri, not Springfield, Illinois. So I wrote an apologetic note to her.
An
then-
endearing note? I mean,
Well,
was it
apologetic
sentimental?
to begin with.
Yes.
Then it became sentimental, perhaps later, and then I,
Well, you didn't know.
after
I did.
a while, went up and visited her there. And,
How did you know what you were going to see up there?
well, I asked a number of the reporters in St. Louis. who
Oh,
had
she'd been
up
out
there.
with a lot of fellas up there.
Well,
Now, you don't have to answer that. You can take a fifth there if you want. I have one back in my dressing room. It's only about this much gone. Now, did your wife give you the title for your book? I mean, is this how she gets you out of bed in the morning? Wake up
Which book
stupid?
is that? No, that.
Well, now, I want to ask you, I want to go back to your wife for a minute here. Apparently, you don't want to go back to your wife, so I will. Now, after these sentimental notes went back and forth, and you had a complete description of her from these other fellas who obviously had taken her out a number of times, you went to visit her, huh?
Yeah.
She invited you there?
She said that if I cared to come up to Springfield, she'd show me the Lincoln sites and the Vachel Lindsay home and so forth.
And suppose you'd gone there and you would have found this girl rather unattractive. Would you have gone
Well-
from there to the Lincoln Memorial? Or,
I might not have gone back a second time.
do you like ugly girls?
Well, I know a lot of girls who who are ugly, but I don't think I would marry one if I could help it.
Well, somebody's got to marry him. There's not enough good-looking ones to go around. Isn't that true?
I don't know. I don't like girls.
How did you arrive at that title, Wake Up Stupid? Were you married then?
Yes. This is a book about a college professor who comes to feel that staying on campus, life is sort of passing him by on campus. So he decides to venture to try a number of other things.
I want to tell you something. I read this book, and this is one of the few writers I've ever read who writes in the vein and idiom of Ring Lardner, whom I consider one of the great writers that America's ever had. This man can really write. Now, Karen, you say you started out in London. How'd you wind up in Southern California?
Well, when I got to New York, I heard an expression. It said, "Go west, young man." So I said to myself, if that's where all the young men are, I'd better go there.
Well, have you found any young men that you like?
Well, I found some...
Have you found any old men that you like?
I found a lot of males, but very few men. I find them...
You better not go into that any further. What's wrong with the young men that you've met?
They seem to be, I don't know, they seem to be emotionally dehydrated.
That's a good phrase, isn't it, Mark? You say the young men you've met are dehydrated? Well, what's wrong with that? Everything's dehydrated now. You just add a little water, stir. What kind of a man would you prefer?
Oh.
What is your dream prince? What would he consist of?
He has to be unmarried to start with.
Well, that's...
Yeah. That's
Well,
pretty
you-
difficult to start with.
Yes, that's...
And
You're asking for a lot there.
then,
What else do you require in a male, in addition to being single?
well, he has to be somebody that I can respect. He has to...
You mean physically?
No, he has to have a greater brain than I have, so that I don't get embarrassed asking him questions that he can't answer. And he has to
That's
have...
asking a lot, too.
And he has to keep himself in shape. He has to be in good shape. He has to have a great varied interest in everything. He has to not be ashamed to sometimes take the garbage out at night, you know.
That's why you want him to be in good shape? So
No.
You know, did you ever hear of a garbage disposal? You know, one of the requirements for marriage is not toting the garbage out.
Well, I mean, occasionally, if I ask him, I don't want.
What do you mean? When you say you're referring to the garbage, are you referring to his relatives?
No, I hope to marry somebody who doesn't have any relatives,
An
especially
orphan.
a mother. I don't want anybody that has a mother.
Well, there are a few of those around Southern California.
Let's put it this way, somebody who hasn't had his mother's influence all his life, so that he is no longer...
Tied to her apron strings?
That's right. I want somebody who
Well, if he's
left
tied-
his mother's apron strings.
You know, but if he still has his mother's apron strings, it's much better for him to take out the garbage because he doesn't get dirty then. Whereas the other way gets it all over his slacks. Well, I hate to break up this conversation, but I suggest you buy Wake Up Stupid. Now, let's see if you can win some money. Mr. Fenneman, would you bring out the questions? George, didn't you tell me that you went to San Francisco State High School?
College, yes.
College. And did you know Mr. Harris as a professor at San Francisco State?
No, I think that was a little before my time.
I inquired about you.
I mean, I was before his time.
He doesn't know you, George. Why is that? Didn't you ever go to class?
Yes, I went to class. It was really, it was quite a while ago that I went there.
George, are you sure you didn't go to Bryn Mawr? Did you go to school anywhere?
Yes, I did. I went to San Francisco State.
I never heard of his book?
Just through you. And, well...
All right. It's
Say it.
fairly evident that you don't know anything. Now, what category did they select? Probably...
Well, I don't know that either, as a matter of fact.
He took the words right out of my mouth and put it in his. What did they
my
say?
friend from
Don't tell
college
me you
just
took
told me.
English grammar?
No, characters from famous books.
Oh.
So,
Karen, you're the lady of the troupe here. You pick the first one.
you understand how this works?
Yes.
Okay. We start with 300.
He's got plenty of confidence, this kid. $300. In what book do you find Pruitt, Maggio, and Karen?
That's in James Jones, From Here to Eternity.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're on your way with $300 and 4 more chances to make a total of 5. 3 more chances. Go for another 300.
For $300, in what book do you find Mrs. Malaprop?
In Dickens.
Very famous.
It's Dickens. It's Dickens, I know, but I'm trying to think. Is it the Old Curiosity Shop?
Let's take a guess.
Oh, David Copperfield.
No, it's The Rivals, and I think it's by Sheridan, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean
yeah,
General
that's
Sheridan,
right.
I mean the English.
Well, you have 2 more chances
right.
to make $500.
300 again.
What's the hero's name and for whom the bell tolls?
Oh. Not.
I'll show it to you as soon as you give up.
No.
Can I help him? He's from my school, you know.
Yeah, Robert Jordan.
Who is it?
Jordan.
Robert Jordan, yeah, but the bell had tolled already. So how they got $300?
Well, you've got 300 now. You have 1 more chance to make a total of 5 so that you'll
You
be able
have
to
to
come back.
get 5, so you can get a chance at the big money.
You have 1 more question to make $500.
For $200, in what book is Philip Nolan the principal character?
Oh, that's the man who, not the man without a country.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Man Without a Country.
Yes. We wound up with $500, so we'll be back for a chance at 2,
Mark,
5, or
see you,
10,000.
see you later. And I also want each of you to have a gift box of Tony Company products. Listen, do you ever get the feeling that you're being watched? Well, just imagine how Miss America must feel. Now watch. But don't stare.
Groucho, we have just a little time left. However, enough time for this next couple to come out and talk to you and perhaps try to win some money. They're Vera Shubin and James Van Niekerk. So, folks, come out, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to the show. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. Good evening. Vera, if there's any whistling to be done, I'm going to do it, please. Vera, do you object to whistling? I mean, you know, it's usually a sign of approbation.
No, I don't.
Do you like it?
Not necessarily, but I'll probably worry when it's not happening.
Yeah, yes, you will. And your name is James Van Niekerk, is that right?
Van Niekerk.
Van Niekerk, eh? Well, it says Niekerk. You wouldn't want to change your name, huh?
No.
Would you want to change your name to Niekerk? You're a very attractive blonde, Vera, and you know what they say, gentlemen prefer blondes. Fortunately, I'm not a real gentleman. Are you a real blonde? I have a feeling this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
You are. Well, I'm sorry to hear. How long have you been married?
13 years.
18 years, huh? Where are you from, Vera? Vera Cruz?
No, in Montebello.
You're from Montebello?
Montebello, California.
Where is Montebello?
Near Whittier,
Near
California.
Near Whittier?
Yes.
Oh, I used to know a girl in Bell. Is that near there?
Well, about 7-8 miles.
And she was cracked, too, just like the one... Yes, she was, like the one in Philadelphia. Where are you from? Are you from Bell or...
No, I'm from South Africa.
South Africa?
Small town called Krugersdorp.
You're not a Mau, huh? What sort of work did you do in Africa? Were you a diamond in the rough or a roughneck in the diamond mines?
No, as a matter of fact, my last few years I was hunting crocodiles.
You were. Are you a professional crocodile hunter?
Yes, I was. I was hunting at night.
You were hunting at night. What were you hunting?
The crocodiles.
Oh. You know, you're hunting at night. You aren't necessarily hunting crocodiles.
When you were, I was, you were. There was nothing else to hunt.
too bad to interrupt us, but the time has come for you to win some money. So, George, Mr. Fenneman, would you bring out the questions, please? You met Mr. Fenneman. What category had they selected?
Professions of famous people, right?
Well, you pick a number from, these are the
What,
100, 200, 300. And, of course, they get more difficult as you go up the line. Yeah.
Let's try the 100 first.
Start with 100.
For $100, what was the profession of F. Scott Fitzgerald? Come on,
With an act... no.
come on. One answer. Time's up.
Writer.
Writer is right.
You now have $100 and 3 more chances to make a total of 500.
For $200, what was Alexander Eiffel's profession? What is it, kids? Come on.
I think it's sculpture.
No, I'm sorry. He's an engineer. He built the Eiffel Tower.
That's why. Oh, heavens.
Well, take another one there.
You
How
have
much they got?
$100 and 2 more chances to make a total of 5.
One, I need 3, 4. Oh, my.
Well,
3 and 4. Or 3
Well,
and...
you do it with 2 twos, you know. I
If
mean,
you got a
Easy.
$300 one and you
because
got...
they're easier than the $300 ones.
all right, in the middle.
For $200, what was the profession of James Montgomery Flagg? Come on, kids.
It's there, go ahead.
Wasn't he a general in the
No,
service?
he was a painter and an illustrator.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
famous, too.
Well, you have 1 more chance, which means that there isn't any chance to make 500. But this is just money in the bank now.
Well, let's just have money in the bank.
All right, we'll go for 3 this time.
For $300, what was the profession of Stanford White? All right. What is it? Say something.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he was an architect, a very famous one. He was shot by Harry Thorne at the top of Madison Square
And
Garden.
I'm going to get shot.
No, you're going to get half shot because you have $100.
Oh, heavens.
Well, at least you're leaving here with more than you came in with. I'm not intellectually, but I mean financially. And that's not too bad. Thanks for being with us, and I'm glad you won that money. And I also want each of you to have a gift box of Tony Company products.
Thank you.
See you in Africa. Here's the big question. Who's going to try for the big money?
Karen Scott and Mark Harris earned $500, so they get a chance, Groucho. You come out, please, folks.
Do you understand the theory of this game, Mr. Harris?
Yes, I do.
You pick a number for a total of $10,000, and we'll put it up here.
3.
Put up a 3, George. You pick a number for $5,000.
7.
7 and 3. Now, if either of these numbers comes up, you know what you'll win if you get the correct answer. Now, if neither of these numbers comes up, you're going for a total of $2,000 if you get the answer. Right?
Yes.
Clear? One of you spin the wheel. It's going to take about 20 minutes.
There's a lot of power to throw.
Well, it was 7 and 3. Your number came up 4, so we're going for a total of $2,000, right? The first Boy Scout troops were organized in England in 1908 for a total of $2,000. Who was the British general who founded the scouting movement?
Lord Baden-Powell.
No, I think it was General Booth.
Wait till the music is over, and then you can tell me.
I think it was General Booth. I think it was General Booth.
Wait a minute. Talk it over between you and decide on one answer. Say yours.
Lord Baden-Powell.
That's right. And he was going to... Here's this college. Now you see where the title of his book comes from. Wake Up Stupid. Huh? You never thought that she was going to take you out of hock intellectually, did you? Huh? All right, you've won a total of $2,000 now. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you very much, Fred.
Nice you. remember, folks, when you go out to buy any one of our products, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night.
The Groucho Show has been brought to you by Tony, makers of Tonette, the very special permanent for very young hair. New Tonette with no mix neutralizer. Try it. Next week, during National YMCA Week, visit your YMCA. See for yourself how it gives young people vision, courage, and a faith in the future.